bike. Look how the brushstrokes follow the line on the gas tank. I had no idea this was a motorcycle exhibit.
HCM is a serious heart condition affecting as many as 1 in 200 people. Like me.
And me. I was still short of breath on my beta blocker.
So I talked to my cardiologist.
And asked about treatment advances in HCM.
That talk made a real difference.
It gave me new hope.
Talk to your cardiologist today. Visit hcmrealtalk.com to learn more.
As a mom, I want my kids' lives to be filled with joy and possibility. And I want that for every kid. That's why I support No Kid Hungry. They work in schools and communities to make sure every kid gets the healthy meals they need. Please join me in supporting No Kid Hungry for all kids.
Thank you.
The Library of Congress invites you to visit the revamped Veterans History Project website, where firsthand accounts shared by U.S. military veterans are accessible to the public. Performing a search of the collection is easy. First, go to loc.gov/vets. Click Explore the Collections. Scroll down to Search the VHP Collections and click. Make sure you're searching this collection, and with simple keywords, you can find what you're looking for. Visit loc.gov/vets today.
It's easy to stay safe online. Learn more at CISA.gov/secure our world.
Your attention, please. You're watching Yes.
Only 1 in 5 people with disabilities, including those with autism, are employed, despite many having the skill set and desire to work. Why? Outdated stigmas and beliefs. So let us make it easy. This is a job for someone with autism. This is a job for someone with autism. So is this. That job? Also perfect. Businesses value diversity, but sometimes overlook the unique strengths and abilities of the autism community. Introducing WIN, the Workplace Inclusion Now program by Autism Speaks. We bridge the gap and help businesses lead the way in inclusive hiring. Yes, these are all jobs for someone with autism. To learn more and lead the way in inclusive hiring, go to autismspeaks.org/win. Yep, that job too.
The Michael K. Show on Yes is brought to you by Untuck It. Shirts designed to be worn untucked. Shop now at untuckit.com.
Watching that game, that Sixer Knick game, how are you just not proud of the team? It's like one thing to just be like super pumped for your team, but how often you say you're proud of the effort. God, the fact that they wanted it more, like I don't want to talk in those terms because then it makes it seem like this is more a Sixer loss than a Knick win. They're the better team. They prove it up and down. They've proven that they're the better team. Their fan base took over the building, Michael. They took over the building. You just got to be just bubbling with pride on the way the Knicks played. And then with the Rangers just taking care of business the way a President's Trophy winner should, you could say, oh, well, maybe a little, close. I really felt like when they needed to, they were the better team too. So here we go, man. It's going to be a fun spring.
All right, now we talk about the Knicks, and so we'll start off with them. And Don, you know that I'm loath to say, well, this team wanted it more, and you mentioned this as well. The Knicks seem like they're tougher than the Sixers. I think the Sixers wanted it, but when they went down to their reservoir of needing to dig deep, it wasn't as deep as the Knicks. I mean, the Knicks had to overcome a lot of things. There was no Mitchell Robinson. Josh Hart shot terribly. He was awful yesterday. But you know what? He said, okay, I'm not shooting well from the free throw line. I'm going to grab rebounds. He was unbelievable that way. DiVincenzo didn't shoot well. OG Anunoby was unbelievable defensively against Embiid in the fourth quarter. Precious Achiuwa stepped up, gave them really, really big minutes. And, of course, then there's Jalen Brunson, who scored more points in a playoff game for the Knicks that's ever been done before, breaking the record previously held by Bernard King, who did twice 46 points, but Brunson had 47. He was just a beast yesterday, and he's been like that the whole year. So I was a little worried after the first two games and the games during the season when they seemed like they had the formula slow him down, but they didn't slow him down yesterday. You know what I didn't like, Don? That they were talking after the game. Well, if you're going to take that many shots, whoa. He hit over 50% of his shots. I don't care how many shots he takes. You're supposed to stop him. They couldn't stop him. They had no answer for him. They had no answer for the Knicks on the boards. And the Knicks are a better team than the Sixers. They really are.
They were, and by the way, and the thing is, we're just remembering this now. I mean, there is a reason that the Knicks were the seed they were and the Sixers were what they were. The problem was it gets very scary when you're dealing with going to Philadelphia, playing there, and playing Embiid, who, guys, when he's unstoppable, feels unstoppable. So I don't want to give, let me put it this way. The way it panned out, it's a beautiful story, and I agree. And now we're sitting here being like, yes, the Knicks are the better team. But there was a world, Don, after the first quarter, when the Knicks shot as poorly as they did, I saw a version of this going the other way. But to your point that you made earlier, Michael, thankfully, they're the tougher team. I don't even know how much better they are, but I know that they're tougher.
And you just see by the rebounds how many second, third opportunities the Knicks get when they weren't shooting well, but they still just, whenever there's a loose ball, whenever a ball's up for grabs, they come down with it. They just have proven it time and time again, and that's why you didn't worry as much about maybe the shots not falling, because there's an excellent chance they were going to get a second and third opportunity after those misses.
The thing that really annoyed me with the Sixers, there was a lot of whining after the game. You know, they said, well, of course they're better at offensive rebounds because they know Brunson's going to shoot the ball all the time, so they put themselves in position. Okay, then if they know it, then you should know it. That's number one. Number two, Joel Embiid crying about the fact that the Sixer fans didn't show up. You know what? Don't lose the first two games in New York. Maybe they don't sell their tickets to New York Knicks fans. Maybe that's the case. Knicks fans took over the building. And Peter, I don't know if you know this, but the building was up for grabs.
No, finally it really happened. A building was truly up for grabs. I don't even know if it was up for grabs. It felt like it was the Knicks' house is what it felt like. But you got to give it up. And this is why I will push back on the one thing you just said, Michael, about the better team part. I really do think it's more that they're the harder working, grittier team. I mean, yeah, they're slightly more talented maybe. Although by having a player as dominant as Embiid, I think that's an interesting argument. But late in the game, Don, do you realize if the Knicks had just hit some shots down the stretch, they would have won by 12. They couldn't buy a bucket for those. There was a 5-minute stretch in the fourth quarter where they were missing shot after shot. But to the point you just made, Michael, they just kept getting offensive rebounds, kept out hustling them, and you had the feeling they were just going to pull this thing out.
Now, this could just be semantics, but sometimes the talented team is not necessarily the better team. You know, guts and guile and desire and want to are also part of what makes a team great. There's been plenty of teams in every sport where you're like, look at how talented that team is, and yet they never seem to win. Why? Because they're missing that one little element. And that's why I get on the Sixers maybe more than any other team, you know, the process and the tanking. Like, they made it out to be some sort of analytical formula in which you now produce a championship team. But they're missing the essence of what a championship team really is. And, yeah, I agree with you, Peter. From a talent standpoint, they're right there, if not better than the Knicks. But when you analyze how great a team is, it goes beyond the talent each player has. It's how well they're coached. It's how hard they work. And that, to me, is what makes the Knicks a better basketball team.
But you would say that of all the players on both teams, Embiid's the best player. I mean, he's the reigning MVP.
He's number one.
He's the best
no
player.
doubt about it.
The Sixers, okay, they shot 0 for 11 in the final 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. 0 for 11. He got stopped completely by a guy who's 5 inches shorter than him and 50 pounds lighter. So, again, the talent is there, but is the toughness there? I mean, for a city that's built on toughness, that's the Philadelphia way. This team does not mirror its city. Yeah. The Knicks mirror the city. And I don't buy into that garbage anyway. Oh, they're New York. Oh, okay. There are a lot of soft people in New York, too. A lot of soft people in Philly. But the bottom line is this. The Philadelphia 76ers just got outworked, outmaneuvered, and even outcoached by the New York Knicks. They did, and now they're up 3-1. Do I think the series is definitely over? I think I'd bet a significant amount of money that it is, but I don't think that the Philadelphia Sixers are going to go down quietly tomorrow. I just don't.
I don't know.
I just don't think they will.
I mean, we'll see, but it's going to counteract everything we know about this team. Boy, the way that they lost Game 4 just feels like they're done. They're cooked. And now this team, and this team, Peter, is going to get off the mat on the road. Hey, again, anything's possible. As you said, they're a very talented team, and maybe the Knicks don't hit their shots or whatever, but God, it just feels like a Philadelphia team that they're just ready to go. They're done.
Now, the Knicks, when they're up 3-1, they are 9-1 in the history of their franchise in a series. Philadelphia has never, ever won a playoff series after trailing 3-1. They're 0-17 in those series. What does that mean? It's the numbers for, grist for the mill. I don't know, because those teams were different. Obviously, they were different, but maybe there's something in the water. I'm not quite sure. But the Sixers did not show up at the end of the game. As Peter said, it looked for a while. They had a 12-point lead over the Knicks. Oh, going to come back to the Garden on Tuesday. It's going to be tied at 2. It's going to be a great series. And then just something clicked in. The Knicks refused to lose, and the Sixers didn't have that extra gear to match what the desperation of the Knicks. And I think that's been the case the entire series. It really has. The Knicks have had some calls go for them. I understand that. But the Sixers had some calls as well. Yesterday, again, Embiid was dirty, threw an elbow into Brunson's face. They didn't call it. Didn't call anything. Josh Hart also did the same thing to a Sixer. They didn't call it. So I think that the word from the NBA was let them play. And that's exactly what happened. Let them play.
Let's be real about this, though. I mean, we say this, Don, about series like in every sport all the time, but it bears repeating. It's so wacky playing these 7-game series because you feel so good at 3-1 going home. It's like, oh, we got this. But if you somehow blow it, and it's not like that's out of the realm of possibilities based on what we've seen in terms of how these two teams played at the Garden, all of a sudden you go from on top of the world to, Michael, imagine, let's say the Knicks play an outright bad game on Tuesday, and they get beat up bad at home. This fan base is going to have their hearts in their throat going back to Philly with the series 3-2. You have to finish this series. You have I can't stress this enough. They have to finish this series tomorrow. Even though, Michael, they out hustled them, there's another world where they go back and play a 6th game in Philly and Embiid drops another 50 spot and you can't do anything. So, and then you're playing a terrifying Game 7 at home. They earned it yesterday. I'm really proud of how that team played. It was incredible to see. But, Don, in my opinion, they have to finish this thing tomorrow.
Well, I mean, have to is strong. Yeah. Because, go back to Philly and still going to go back to the Garden in Game 7. But here's my thought on it.
Who wants to do that?
Here's my thought on it, though. I think that the ultimate ability to advance in the playoffs is not to play as many games as the team that you're going to face next. That's why I'm thrilled what the Rangers did. Boom. Get rid of the Capitals. 4 games over. Because even if the Islanders lose tomorrow, it's still a 5-game set. It's still 2 days that they've had to work while the Rangers didn't have to. I think if the Knicks could get this done in 5 games, let them relax, let them reset. Maybe Mitchell Robinson gets better. I think it's important to end series early, especially in the beginning of the playoffs, because I've seen it with the Rangers before. 7 games, and then they're worn out. This time they're not worn out, and the Knicks want to finish this tomorrow so they don't get worn out.
But I think it's a little bit beyond that, though. I'm sorry. When you're talking about a team that I think is slightly more talented in Philadelphia, to me it's beyond wanting to get it done early. It's just you want to prevent anything bad happening. What about that moment yesterday when we saw Jalen go knee to knee, get dinged up, and have to leave for 5 minutes? Michael, they somehow lose the game. Let's say they lose the game on Tuesday. You go back and play game 6, and Jalen steps the wrong way. What happens then?
I mean, obviously, every game you play, that's a threat. I understand what you're saying there.
But particularly when you're so barely able to be better than your opponent. The Knicks can't lose very much and beat the Sixers. Do we all agree with that? It's taking the maximum effort for the Knicks. They may be up 3-1, but it's by the hairs of their chinny chin. I'm sorry, let's not forget about how Game 2 happened. You got to be thrilled, but I just think you want to get the hell out of Dodge with the Sixers team. I do not feel like seeing them more if I'm a Knicks fan.
I don't think the Sixers have it, Peter. I think to Michael's point, you want to finish it early because Milwaukee can end their series tomorrow as well. That's the team that you're going to face coming up next, so you want to make sure that you're on even footing with them. And the other point that you just made, Peter, about every extra game means the potential of something disastrous happening to Brunson or to Hartenstein, some sort of an injury where you go, boy, if we had finished it off early, that would have never happened. But I don't think this Sixer team has the ability, has the cubes to win 3 straight games against this Knicks team. I don't see it.
But did you really feel that way yesterday with more than 5 minutes left?
Yeah, because when it came to crunch time, you saw how the Knicks played. Like, in with the exception of the one game where the Sixers kind of went, it really wasn't that competitive. Every time it's been competitive down the stretch, and you're right, when you take a look at this series, games 1 and 2, and the game 4 yesterday, that it could have went either way as far as the score was concerned. But when it was really on the line, the Knicks proved they were just a better team, that they wanted it more, that they outworked the Sixers. So why all of a sudden now would I be concerned that the Sixers, who have not really ever in this series outworked, they might have outplayed the Knicks in Game 3, the first game in Philadelphia, but when it's really come down to the nitty-gritty, the Knicks have shown in the other 3 wins that they find the way to get it done. So why would I think the Sixers all of a sudden now would get off the mat and win 3 straight?
Listen, I hear what you're saying. It's a reasonable point, and I'm not trying to downplay how well this Knicks team has played and what they deserve, because I can already hear Knicks fans being like, oh, but Peter, way to downplay. No, I'm not saying that. And maybe there are Knicks fans who hear what I'm saying. I just feel like we've had these moments in this series, the end of Game 2, where this series should have been 1-1. You have yesterday where it still easily could have gone another way. I just feel like, even though I hear what you're saying, Don, heart-wise, I have not been impressed with the Sixers team. It doesn't seem like they want it. I do think they're slightly more talented and could win games. So I hope they finish things off tomorrow. I think we all agree on that. Let's come out tomorrow, blow them out early, make it a celebration in the Garden where you take their heart. Because I'll say this, I definitely agree. This is a team in the Sixers that's poised to have their heart taken away from them early tomorrow night.
Let me push back on you just a little bit. Why do you keep saying that the Sixers are more talented? If you go 1-8, the Knicks are more talented. The Knicks have a better bench. Now, and maybe you're just going Embiid and Maxey, but if you go 1-8, I think the Knicks are better.
1-8, you might be right, but that one that they have, first of all, and they're 2. Maxey's fantastic as well. But I'm really just talking about the ability of a guy to completely go off and dominate. Embiid has that on a different level than anyone else in the series. And I know I say that coming off of Jalen Brunson setting a record, dropping 47 points, and it being amazing. But the effort level that it takes for Brunson to be able to do that versus Embiid, who, guys, also this is a point worth mentioning, the Knicks got to learn to keep their feet down and not bite at every single thing Joel Embiid does. I mean, the guy just can grab 20 free throws with no hesitation without putting any work in. So there's just the way that Joel Embiid is capable of dominating scares me.
I don't want you to be scared.
I don't want to be, and I don't want to be scared. Listen, I was scared about the Celtics. They made me feel much better in Game 3. Much better.
Let's go to the phone, see what you're thinking. Let's go to Andres in Elmsford. What's up, buddy? Take it off.
Hey, how's it going? So I want to call in. I'm a Knicks fan, but I want to call in kind of defending the Sixers fans for a second.
Okay.
Because the Knicks, you saw them take over, the Wells Fargo, and Embiid is crying about, the Knicks fans are taking over and Philly fans should be embarrassed. Well, the reason why, if you take a look at those seats, those are like corporate seats that are getting sold. And what's happening is the Knicks fans who've been priced out, every fan base, has been priced out as some of their best seats, but the Knicks fans to get priced out of their seats for the corporate, now have the money to go and buy those corporate seats because the real Philly fans have been priced out. So in a way,
wait a minute. It just wasn't corporate seats. They took over the whole building.
No, but what I'm saying is, if this isn't true in Indiana and Boston, then I'm wrong. But I think this year, what you're going to see is that because of the culture of buying seats and, people buy up the prices and then resell them, like you saw this with Ticketmaster and the Taylor Swift tickets, that New Yorkers who travel and New Yorkers who have the money, it's cheaper. I looked it up. It's cheaper for me to go to Philly and get 100-level seats for a family of 4 than getting 2 and the 200 levels of the Knicks.
So you mean that Philly fans can't afford it? That's what you're saying?
Yes.
Well, why do you think the economy is worse in Philly?
And are saying, hey, you should be embarrassed.
But they're Philly fans that are selling these tickets, Andres. They're the ones selling the tickets.
Yeah, those seats are low.
No, I'm saying it's a corporate.
It's not. How do you know it's a corporate thing? There are people that are selling their tickets. When they went down 2-0, they sold their tickets to Knick fans. It's not all corporate seats.
Wait, and by the way, it could even be corporate people who are selling their seats. It's still the same point for Embiid. Why are you selling your seats?
No.
No?
Well, my point is, I think you're going to see the Knicks take over not only in Philly, but in Indy and even in Boston, simply because the culture of
they will not take over. But you're wrong. You're wrong. It's a ridiculous statement.
No, listen.
First of all, it was in a ridiculous way. I said hello to him at the beginning, and then it's a ridiculous statement. I mean, corporate seats. So the whole building is corporate. So when they were putting a Knick jersey on Wilt Chamberlain's statue outside the arena, that was corporate. Come on, that is such nonsense. The Sixer fans gave up at 2-0, and I don't blame them. I don't get in people's wallet. They wanted to make some of their money back, so they sold their tickets for profit. I don't think it's going to happen in Boston.
Michael, you see it with the Yankees. I saw it last night with the Rangers. There were a lot of Ranger fans in Washington. 3-0 series lead. It's a train ride down to Washington. There were several Ranger fans. The New York travels very well because there's just so many of us. But I would never say, as much as the Rangers ended up winning the series, the Capital fans showed up despite being down 3-0. They were loud. They were into it. And eventually, the Rangers won the game and their fans celebrated. But being in that building, I never felt like the Capital fans embarrassed themselves. They showed up, even though they were down 3-0. Philadelphia fans, they went out just like their team did. They don't believe in their team. And that's why it's not even about the sheer amount of people. It's the fact that they were able to take it over and be louder and be heard, because I think the Sixer fan base knows they're done. That's the whole idea of taking over the building, Peter, is that it was easy to take over because this Sixer fan base doesn't believe in their team.
Let's go to Bill in Union. Bill, what's up?
First time, long time. How are you? And I've been waiting to make this statement for a long time. When Isaiah Thomas was the coach, he said that Knicks fans will never tolerate a rebuild. And I'm not saying that this has been a total rebuild with the Knicks, but I will say this. Knicks fans will always tolerate putting a team on the floor that's a blue-collar team that will bust their butt every second that they're on the floor. And I think that's one of the reasons why this city and this team has really embraced this Knicks team, because they give everything that they have and they bust their butt every second that they're on the floor. And I totally disagreed with Isaiah when he said it then, and I really agree with one of the reasons why this city has really embraced this team.
Well, I mean, there's a couple of things you're saying there, Bill. I mean, they don't embrace rebuilds. I'm sure of it. They don't, because attendance goes down. But the Garden, though, became a place where people from other countries were visiting, and they went to see the most famous arena. So the arena was somewhat always filled, but it was not always sold out. There were many, many bad years. Now, I love when people say they'll only embrace a blue-collar team. You tell me if they had a bunch of high-flying Cadillac sort of players that were all fancy and everything, and they won, that they wouldn't embrace it? They embrace winners. This team is a blue-collar team because it doesn't have an overabundance of stars. It has an overabundance of role players, and so that makes them blue-collar, and we connect it with New York. I think that's a little overblown. I don't want to pour cold water on that narrative, but I think that's a little overblown. If you win, no matter how you do it, you will be embraced.
If they were the Pat Riley Lakers of the late 80s, I think Knicks fans would be celebrating the team and excited about it. But it is something. Lunch pail is always something that's attached attached to New York, even though New York's probably one of the most cosmopolitan cities in the nation. You know, when the Giants won in '86, it was the Big Blue Wrecking Crew, and there were Lunch Pail, Knicks are Lunch Pail. I think we do enjoy teams like that, but I don't think that necessarily that's the way you have to build a team in New York. They're going to gravitate to winners, and no matter how they got to where they are, Michael, I think this fan base would embrace the Knicks, a 2 seed, up 3-1 against the Philadelphia 76ers, no matter how they play.
If you win, they'll embrace you, no matter how you do it. And I thought your use of the Showtime team, that was not a blue-collar team. That was just a great, high-flying team.
Right.
I think New Yorkers would love them. But now it's an easy narrative because this team is blue-collar. It is lunch pail because they have to be. They don't have the overabundance of talent.
But can we can now finally end the conversation. And I've said this now for a few weeks, but I think yesterday truly was the nail in the coffin. We don't have to say, will they go out and get a superstar anymore? They have a superstar.
But they need another one.
No, another player.
Another superstar.
I mean, they don't need another superstar.
Why?
They need another great player. You need another great player. But they don't need to necessarily have someone. I mean, I don't know. I'm looking across the league now and seeing the teams. They threw together 3 superstars in Phoenix. It got them absolute bupkis. It got them embarrassed in the playoffs.
Because they played against one of the best players in the league.
Oh, okay, fine, but they were swept.
Yep.
They didn't perform at all. I'm just saying, I'm not disagreeing, Michael, that they need another player. But I'm saying, let's stop saying that we need a superstar. And I think most people are done saying it. He is Jalen Brunson. Do we all three of us agree, though? He's a full-on superstar.
Yes,
at this
and
point.
I think that you need 2 superstars on a team.
So that's fine. If you want to make the argument you need an additional superstar, I'll play along. But I just don't want to hear anyone act that this team doesn't have an absolute marquee, highest-level player because they have one.
Hey, if you're like me, you love to spend time at home. My home is my happy place. I've been telling you that my home needed a refresh, so I chose the painting professional.
It's one fantastic ride. The turbocharged, tech-inspired Kia Forte.
Best 2 out of 3?
Lease the new 2024 Forte LXS for $189 a month.
Mom! Yeah? I fell. Okay, there's bandages in the cabinet. I'm bleeding. Grab 2.
Sheba, what cats want?
Where'd you learn to serve?
Oh, I didn't serve, but if your spouse, parent, or grandparent served in the military, you can join USAA.
Yeah, my grandpa did, so I'm already in, but I was talking about your serve.
Oh.
USAA, for the military community.
Step into the world of Golden Nugget Online Casino. With all the slots and table games you love, feel like you're on the casino floor no matter where you are. Score rewards by playing your favorite games and get your winnings almost instantly with lightning-fast withdrawals.
Go!
So what are you waiting for? Have a great time in your downtime. Download the Golden Nugget Online Casino app and get started today with this great offer.
When I hit 80, I needed help around the home. A friend of mine told me to call Freedom Care, and they'll pay my granddaughter to take care of me.
Funded by Medicaid, Freedom Care allows people to choose who provides their care, and the caregiver gets paid instantly after their shift.
Life is sweeter with her around.
Nana gave me so much joy as a child. Now it's my turn to return the love.
Call now to find out benefits and pay, and how fast you can get started.
Sometimes I dream about you, falling through the sky. Can hardly believe my own
eyes. Disasters don't take a break for the holidays. With your help, neither does the Red Cross.
Anthony Donahue, who's the biggest Knick fan in the world and was actually in Philly, he just tweeted out, definitely season ticket holders are putting tickets on sale. Other Knick fans said the same thing. I bought mine from a season ticket holder. They gave up on their team, and they decided to cash in and make some money. I don't blame them. I could see why it would upset the Sixers, but if you didn't get swept in New York, maybe it's a different story. That's exactly what happened. Forget about corporations. These are individual, personal season ticket holders, and they sold their tickets. They're trying to make back some of the money. New York fans took over Wells Fargo. They did. It was an embarrassment. Also, when did John Starks become such a maniacal fan?
By the way, I mean, you guys saw Stephen A's video yesterday?
No, I didn't.
He's out of control. I mean,
what happened now?
He's just screaming into the camera, and I think he was working the games yesterday too, wasn't he? There was an ABC vehicle.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's. I mean, I'm not saying I don't buy it. I buy it a little bit. Like I know Stephen likes the Knicks. I know he does. I do not actually think that Stephen A. has ever once been in a bad mood at the end of the day. When he looks into his closet filled with fine suits and goes to his fine dinners with, I'm sure, lovely company, I don't think, Don, he spends one night being sad if the Knicks lose.
I think he does what's good for him. I think he's a Knick fan. There's no question about that.
And it's become a gig, a shtick.
And I think killing them was a shtick, and now rooting for them is a shtick. But I don't doubt that he's a Knick fan. I don't know when all this started happening, where analysts just openly root for teams. But I think he makes it work for him. When they're bad, it works for him that he destroys them, and now it works for him that he's all on board.
1-800-919-3776. Kind of a seismic day in broadcasting. Boomer Esiason announced on his show today that he's leaving CBS, and he was very forthright. He said, more their decision than mine. And then it was quickly followed up that they're not bringing back Phil Simms either.
Yeah.
So that hurt me. No Simms?
No Simms.
I was surprised. Both. Did they announce anyone else?
They announced that Matt Ryan's going to join them. And J.J. Watt will continue, not doing every single show.
I'm good.
I just don't. It's really a sad day when it's just we think you're too old to do it, And not too old, meaning
They didn't say that, though.
You can't do that. It's just, we want to try to stay relevant. And unfortunately, an audience didn't see them play, so they're not relevant anymore. Never mind the fact that they're outstanding at what they do. That doesn't matter. So just, I don't know if Jason Kelsey can do it.
Jason Kelsey was hired for Monday Night Football.
Don't have no idea if he can do the job. But unfortunately, for the way the business is right now, let's get the hot person, let's get the personality, let's get the famous person. Whether they can do their job or not is irrelevant. And I wish them well. Maybe Matt Ryan will do a great job. Maybe Jason Kelsey will do a great job. But I do know who did a great job, and that was Boomer Esiason and Phil Simms, whether it's games, whether it's analysis. But unfortunately, a higher percentage every year of the audience never saw them play. They lose their relevancy, and they get kicked to the curb. But do we know their replacements are going to be as good as them? We'll see. I hope so, but I doubt it.
Simms was there 26 years. And Boomer was there, I believe, 20 years.
It's just a weird. It's just a weird thing to change for Matt Ryan.
But you know what makes me sick, Peter, about the whole business is that I fell in love with football. I never saw Irv Cross play. I never saw Brookshire play. I had a vague remembrance of of John Madden as a coach, as a really young kid, but loved him and felt he was relevant, even though I didn't have much of a memory of him being a coach with the Raiders. I never saw Frank Gifford play. But yet I still loved football. I still felt that they provided me with a tremendous amount of entertainment and education. But I guess now the youth of America can only relate to people that they know and seen play.
But
Very sad.
but let me defend something on that, Don, because they're not going to let go of Charles and Kenny at Turner because their characters are too important to it. So, like, what it tells you is more so than it being about whether or not people saw them play in their age, it's about what level of character you play and how it connects with people. And as much as we may have thought Boomer and Phil did a good job, did either of them connect so much that they needed them on that show?
Do we know?
But, I mean, but is that what you think? Like, based on what we know, do people ever come away on a Sunday talking about what Phil and Boomer do? That's kind of the world we live in more than anything.
Yeah.
I mean, Don's going to blow a gasket when I say it, but that's why Terry Bradshaw is around for so long. Because he's a wacky character who people feel a connection to, even if, Don, you think he's the worst broadcaster who's ever lived.
But I think what TNT has with the NBA just works for them. So they'd be silly to bother it. Because there is a connection that they have. I don't know that. So 25 years working now all of a sudden they lost their connection, even though the ratings are absolutely through the roof. And then they get replaced by people. Like, why? And I'll say this about Terry Bradshaw. Terry Bradshaw started out like on the D team on CBS back in the day, worked his way up, build up his credibility to the point where now he is, even though I'm not a huge fan, a significant part of what Fox does. But there is now it's just, well, you're a former player, to throw him on the air. And you can say, well, does it work? Does it not work? It didn't work for Drew Brees. And then you get people that did the work. Phil did games for a long time, and he didn't get thrown right into the fire right away. Worked there, got there. Boomer, the same thing. And they put in the time, and they put in the work. And now just because you're a former athlete that takes off his shirt and guzzles beer, you get a chance to be on television. That's a sad day. I hope they do great. But it doesn't seem like there's a lot of credibility in getting jobs anymore. The more famous you are, throw them on. Wait, listen, Tom Brady may kill it. But they don't know. Have no idea. But he's Tom Brady. Give him $35 million a year. Let's see on the fly.
Well, that was an outlier, Don, because he's the greatest player of all time.
What experience did Tony Romo have?
Well, he started off on a lower rung, didn't he?
$18 million a year.
He started off on a lower rung.
He did?
When?
Did he got Phil's job right away?
I think he jumped right in.
I think Romo was right in.
I might be wrong.
But he jumped right in, because why? I mean, listen, and he's good. I don't know if he's $18 million a year good, but he's good. But I just, and again, I'm not picking on my company, Fox, all of them, CBS, it doesn't matter. It just, even though they print money and they print ratings, It's just, hey, you played, you got some sort of a personality, throw them on. And there's a lot of former athletes that actually put in the time and the sacrifice and the work to become very good at what they do. And Boomer and Phil are two of those people that in their post-career have put in the work to get the gigs. And now they're going to be taken over by people that have not put the work in yet.
I'm surprised for Ryan. I mean, the star of that show is obviously, what was his name? Escaping. Nate Burleson.
Right.
That's the star. So there was some thought they wouldn't even bring back James Brown, and Nate Burleson was going to host. The one thing I don't want to knock the guy because he's on the show every now and then with us, but I don't see what the love affair is with Bill Cowher. Is he great on the air? Would you rather hear Boomer or Phil?
But there is something, too, when you take a look, and obviously there's exceptions to every rule, but, baseball did it, too. Put on Red Sox, put on former Yankees, put on former Cowboys, put on former Steelers, put on former Giants. Massive fan bases that may watch just because they like those players. Am I wrong? Raiders.
No, you're right.
Howie, I mean, you do see some exceptions here or there. Obviously, Olsen played for the Panthers, so there are different exceptions. But for the most part, in all these sports, throw on the guy that has the massive fan base and the massive following. Hey, and it's worked for him, Peter. I'm a fart in the wind because they obviously know what they're doing. They print money. They're getting tremendous, especially football. But I'm of the belief you put in the work, you put in the time, and you get to a certain place. You pay your dues. I don't see a lot of dues paying anymore in this business.
Let's go back to the phones. Let's go to Rudy in Poughkeepsie. Rudy.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Good. What's up?
Listen, I have something to bring up. I'm a New Yorker through and through. I love New York. Anything gritty, Yankees, Mets, Knicks, love stuff like that. That whole Embiid play before when he did with Mitchell Robinson, Mitchell Robinson could have hurt himself. This game that came up that Brunson scored 47, he gave him a big shoulder.
I know.
When I guess somebody was trying to cut the basket, he was giving the screen. And I loved how gritty, because I'm from New York, how gritty Brunson got, because the next play over, when the play was already dead, comes back, and when he was going to shoot foul shots, he looked at Embiid and asked him, hey, what's that about? And I loved it, because to me it's like, we see you, we see what you're doing. It's not going to phase us. I'm still going to throw 47 on your head tonight. It's not going to matter. Let's bring it back to the Garden. So I just want to give a shout-out to the Knicks and how good we do and how gritty we are, even though there's people trying to play a little nasty and dirty, but we're here for it.
All right, sounds good.
You should be proud of your team.
Yeah.
Let's go to Chris in the UPS truck. Chris.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, what's up, guys? How you guys doing today?
Good. How are you?
My voice is still messed up from Game 1 at the Garden.
Oh, boy.
But it was intense. It was crazy. I was yelling for Deuce to kill. Deuce was killing. Real quick, I just want to say, Embiid scoring 50 on Game 3. Yeah, Game 3, scoring 50. I don't think that's really what killed us. He killed us, literally. But Cameron Payne dropping to 11, getting the garbage minutes and just going ham, that's what kind of killed. That took the momentum on their side. So I'm really not worried about it. But all the Embiid dirty plays and the crying, and let's not forget the robotic eye that he's dealing with. I mean, I'm sorry for his health. But he, at the end of this series, what I really want you guys to do is, Peter, you especially, is to go get Embiid some better help. That's all I got to say.
You know what? It's a great point.
I will tell you this. Embiid had the 50 in Game 3. And they still could have won, the Knicks.
Right.
Because if you watched, for some reason, I couldn't turn it off. I watched the whole second half of the Timberwolves and the Suns.
Really?
You could not stop Devin Booker. And you couldn't really stop Durant.
Yeah.
And you know what? The Timberwolves won. Big guys can get their points. You got to stop everybody else. They're going to get their points. You contain them. You're not going to stop them. You contain them. And Anthony Edwards was too much. He might be the best player in basketball right now. He's so special. But let Embiid get 50 again tomorrow. That's okay. Stop everybody else. Don't let Maxey go off. Don't let Lowry get his points. Lowry was terrible yesterday. Terrible. So it's not about the guy getting his points. He's going to get his points. You got to stop other people. Let's go to David in Schenectady. David.
Hey, young men.
What's up?
Oh, hey. I'm just talking about, you guys are talking about combos like in the booth who we're fans of. I grew up with Mike and Mike, Tom Jackson, Chris Berman, you guys. It really doesn't matter too much about if you're a fan of the guy who played. Like, that flash in the pan stuff doesn't really last. You know what I mean? If you look at all these shows that last a long time, it's like guys that we just enjoy hearing. Some are all Madden. I didn't know Madden as a coach.
Right. So I'm saying I accepted who they were, and I loved them or hated them based on what they had to say. Irv Cross was a former Eagle. I'm a Giant fan, but it was irrelevant to me. He was very good at what he did, and I couldn't wait to watch the pregame show to get his analysis of the sport. Same with everybody else, but obviously it's changed, and they have the metrics and the analytics that back up what they do.
I don't even know if that's it, man. That's the thing that I don't get about it. Like, this is the thing that drives me nuts about this country.
Oh, it's a country thing. You're going to.
Yeah, that's right. No, it is. Hear me out, Don. Hear me out. Every one of these every one of these companies cries poor. Every one of them. They fire tons of people. And then every moment they get a chance to throw an obscene amount of money at a football player, with all due respect, Matt Ryan wouldn't move the needle. If you were a diehard Falcons fan, he wouldn't make you turn on the TV. Matt Ryan, there's nothing Matt Ryan could be doing that would make me turn on the TV any more frequently than I already do. And yet they'll throw just gobs of money at these athletes because they're popular in the moment. I don't get it. And then you'll find out they had to fire 120 employees 2 weeks from now.
And they always tell you, well, it's a different pot.
Oh, right.
That's always the answer, right?
Is that the same conversation that we're going to have about at the end of June when we all start paying to drive below 59th Street?
I will not go below 59th. I'll walk there.
Don't get me started. Don't even get me started.
Don, what about BetMGM? Why don't you tell us about that?
Well, the NBA playoffs are here.
Let's explore your future with Udemy. You can learn how to program and build websites, study design and create logos, improve your presentation skills, and sell your ideas. With Udemy, you can learn practical skills from thousands of online courses taught by real-world experts. Explore your future. Udemy.
Before ClickUp, we were kind of a mess. We had so many different systems that we were using to communicate and share knowledge that you kind of had to code switch every time you were talking to somebody different.
We have distributed teams all across the world. There's a clear time difference there, and I think ClickUp really helps manage all that information regardless of time. We can communicate asynchronously, and so we are able to be very productive using ClickUp.
And mine.
Now, it's possible for me to get back out there.
To get out of my comfort zone and try new things.
To build and be part of a community that supports other warriors.
It's possible to get the help I need for me and my family.
I got my confidence back. I'm setting goals, and I'm achieving them.
It's possible to feel understood, whether it's day one or 20 years down the road. They've got your back.
And as each warrior's needs evolve, Wounded Warrior Project is adapting to meet them.
Because when we pull together,
It's possible to go further than you ever imagined.
Competing for gold, we have legendary Reese's Peanut Butter Cups versus newcomer Reese's Medals. Who will be the winner? I'm sorry, what are they competing in?
When the prize is our future, every day is the match of our lives. In all my years of playing around the world, I have never seen a brighter soul than Kiara's. You will never know what it took for her to be here. Together with her world-class team, Kiara triumphed over a rare cancer that nearly stole her future as a dancer. When we unite around one goal, that is when we win.
Break up with your old wings and lemon pepper wing from Popeyes. Crispy, saucy, available. Popeyes finally has wings in 6 flavors.
If there's one thing we like, it's choices. And your Ford dealer is the place to start. With a full lineup of vehicles and available powertrains. Get your ideal combination of power and capability with gas, hybrid, or all electric. But more important than the power you choose is what you choose to do with it.
Right now, lease a Ford Bronco for just $329 a month for 48 months. Only at your local Ford stores.
The only thing on the road faster than a race car are rising car repair costs. They're up almost 20% in the past year alone. But with Endurance, you'll never pay for covered car repairs again.
Right now, you can get $300 off any plan. Plus, a year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value, free. All backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. Call 1-855-789-6808 for a free quote.
All right, I got it right here. I know you've been waiting. Here's the Yankees starting lineup brought to you by Bigelow Tea. It's a little bit of a surprise, guys. Here we go. Here we go. Leading off. Turned 23 yesterday, the shortstop, Anthony Volpe.
Oh, yeah.
Batting second, right fielder, Juan Soto. Batting third, the left fielder, Aaron Judge. Batting cleanup, first baseman, Anthony Rizzo hit his 300th home run yesterday. Giancarlo Stanton will DH. He'll bat fifth. Batting sixth, catching Austin Wells. Batting seventh, second baseman Gleyber Torres. Batting eighth, third baseman Oswaldo Cabrera. Batting ninth, the center fielder Trent Grisham. And pitching is Clark Schmidt against Grayson Rodriguez of the Orioles. Now you might say, well, why is Judge in left? Well, you might say, why is Judge in left? Well, neither Don or Peter will say that.
Why is Judge in left?
Hey, I got a question.
What's that?
Everyone? Well, why is Judge in left?
Because Alex Verdugo has left the team. He's on paternity leave. So they're left fielder, so they give him a little less ground to cover, although left field here at Camden Yards is very deep now. But that's why he's in left, and Trent Grisham, who is a great center fielder, is in center. That's the Yankees starting lineup brought to you by Bigelow Tea. Bigelow Tea is a proud supporter of the Michael Kay Show and the official hot tea of the New York Yankees. Let's go back to the phone, shall we? Let's go to Will in Sacramento. Will.
Hey, what's up, fellas? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. I caught the tail end of the conversation a little bit earlier. You guys were talking about a broadcaster who recently got fired from CBS, I think, or let go.
Boomer and Phil Simms.
Boomer and Phil Simms.
Got it. Okay, thank you. So I was going to say this. I think the same reason that these corporations or companies could care less about showing allegiance to an older broadcaster is the same reason why they also hire these guys and pay them, these former players, and pay them $20-30 million a year, is because they could care less about who's calling the game. You know, people are still going to watch regardless. So
isn't it a waste of money?
A lot of times.
Then aren't you wasting money?
What was that?
Aren't you wasting money then?
I think so. I mean, I guess, yeah, but I just don't see if it's a waste of money to them. They're making so much anyway.
Yeah, but you know what? If you pay a lot of money to a broadcast, you're making a little less money. Now, I am not of the belief that you could throw anybody on a pregame and a postgame show. I think personalities drive the day there. I really do.
I do too, because it doesn't.
I believe that on games, a game you're going to watch no matter who's doing it.
Yeah, because you look at the difference between with the pre and post game show ratings and the actual game ratings. So you can move the needle, I think, on a pre and post game show. I think TNT's proven that there are people that might watch a game because they love the pre and the post so much. That's rare. So those guys deserve every dime they get over with the basketball for TNT, and I think they're killing it over in hockey as well with what they're doing there with their analysis. But during a game, if it's a big game, I've never heard anybody say, I'm not watching that because he's announcing the game. If you want to watch the game, you're going to want to watch the game.
So Boomer's been there 22 years. Phil's 26 years. Mm-hmm. And, I hope CBS buttoned everything up. Because if you're getting rid of guys just because of their age, you're going to get yourself in trouble. You can't fire somebody because of their age.
No, but you can work around it by...
I guess they're going to have to work around it because isn't it strange that the two guys that are older got fired? Now, they could say, well, James Brown's in the 70s. We're bringing him back.
Different job, but...
Yeah, but here's the thing. Like, I get what you're trying to do from a relevancy standpoint, and unfortunately, the older you are, the less relevant you're going to be.
But, Don, do you really believe that Matt Ryan is more relevant than Boomer Esiason and Phil Simms?
I'm with you. Okay? Now, and I don't know what it is they see in Matt Ryan. Like, he doesn't jump off as somebody that I got to go see, but maybe they've looked into it or whatever. But if they're trying to get the coveted younger demographic, I guess they feel like I want to get guys that can play. And in some cases, I get it. Like in baseball, Michael, I think the older you are as an analyst, maybe you become less relevant because you're not up on the analytics the way the game is played anymore. But in watching Boomer and watching Phil, I never got a sense that they weren't relevant anymore, that the game passed them by, that their anecdotes or how they looked at it were like old school. I never sensed. Did you sense that?
No, not at all. I mean, well, wouldn't Cowher then be considered old school?
But you test, maybe they probably have some analytic where they're able to test the market and see what the fans want. I mean, they're doing it for a reason, and they're expert at what they do. But and I'm all for change.
Well, you know what I think happened, Don? Sean McManus has run CBS forever. He just retired, so they brought a new guy in, wants to put his own imprint.
But by the way, that's the main. That's the
main
main
fine.
thing.
That's good. You want to bring in fresh bodies. You want to bring in a different way of doing things. I guess my only problem with it is that it doesn't seem like you need any experience at all. Like, we saw all of these guys eventually gradually move up to where they were to prove that they can do it. Now it doesn't seem like whether they can do it or not is part of the process. How popular are they? How many followers do they have? Like, Paul Bissonnette's done a great job on TNT. He has. I think he's been tremendous. But one of, I think, the reasons he got that gig, he's part of Spitting Chicklets that has like over 1 million followers on Twitter. Like, so I feel like a lot of these guys get the opportunity. Jason Kelsey is as relevant a professional athlete as there is right now, not based on how good an offensive lineman he was, but because of the podcast that he's on and who his brother is and his antics. Like, so they probably feel like, hey, let's put this guy in a game, see what happens. I'm more old school. I think you kind of got to work up to that level, but that doesn't seem to be the process of hiring anymore.
Now, in terms of Travis Kelsey, he got a contract extension with the Chiefs.
All right.
Now he's the highest paid tight end in football.
I could see that.
There you go. And I think he's 35 years old, so it looked at the beginning of last year like he'd lost a step, but then when the playoffs hit, he was back to being Travis Kelsey.
He turned right back into Travis Kelsey.
I love it. I love a lot of stuff happening. I don't know if we can do it in just 3.5 hours. 1 hour's already down.
You know, I'm a little disappointed that hasn't happened yet, Michael, in recent days.
My resignation?
No. That you and Don haven't opened up one of your favorite fights to repeat over and over again.
What's that?
About just of all years, how much those wins in the middle of the Giants season with Tommy DeVito were such a waste. I mean, What's worse than a waste, Michael?
An
I
epic
enjoy them.
waste.
I wouldn't take them back.
Unmitigated waste?
So even right now, Don, you'd still rather have those wins than have gotten a quarterback?
Yes.
Just get Malik Neighbors instead and just pray that
I don't
things
think the Giants can be very good next year. So go 0-17, and then you can have the pick of the litter.
Yeah, but maybe the quarterbacks aren't as good.
But, and like there was apparently one there they wanted. They just couldn't get up and get him.
That's what they say. We don't know.
I just feel like this was the one year, Michael, where you remove a couple of those and they're sitting there at 3 to grab Drake May. Instead, we're playing this whole nonsense game where we trot Daniel Jones back out and have to do this again.
They still need a quarterback, right? So go 0-17 next year.
There you go. So take it to the next level, you're saying.
Exactly.
Really take.
That's what everybody. If you don't have a chance, because in your mind, if you don't have a chance to win, just lose every game and then just rebuild.
Well, now see,
because
Michael,
the process is really working in Philly. I'll tell you that.
I'm not going to get hoodwinked into joining us. No, Don, I've been doing this a long time. We're not going to do the same thing again for you. We're not your little clowns, okay?
Fine.
When we get back, the second hour of the show, you know what they're saying? Up for grabs.
Oh, you kidding me?
Yeah. Coming up on Yes and 98.7 ESPN.
The Michael K. Show on Yes is brought to you in part by Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center.
At Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, being the Northeast's best cancer center means being the best for you. Pairing the most advanced treatments with the most compassionate treatment. It takes looking at every cancer from every angle. And a care team that looks out for you and everyone you care for. It takes MSK.
Yes Network is now streaming on Fubo. Watch the Yankees and more of your New York teams. Streaming live on all your devices. Plus, over 350 top channels. Start watching at FuboTV.com.
I've wanted an eternity with you from the second I met you.
The best ideas come from solving common problems. My problem? Like a lot of other men, I couldn't find a shirt that looked good untucked. So this became my passion, to design a shirt that captures the perfect balance between length and fit. Easy to say, not that easy to do. But with some innovative design changes, we did it. Our problem, my solution. Untuckit.com.
You know, when I take the bike out like this, all my stresses just melt away.
I hear that. This bad boy can fix anything.
Yep, tough day at work. Nice cruiser sorts you right out.
When I'm riding, I'm not even thinking about my painful cavity.
Oh, you shouldn't ignore that.
And every time I get stressed about having to pay my bills, I just hop on the bike, man.
Oh, come on, man. You gotta pay your bills.
You don't have to worry about anything when you're protected by America's #1 motorcycle insurer.
Well, you definitely do. Those things aren't related, so...
Yee! Oh, that is a vibrating pain.
Is it possible to be more capable and more practical? Be able to perform here and here. Make a statement while barely making a sound. And command the road, as well as what lies ahead. How we get there matters. Get exceptional offers at your local Audi dealer.
When I hit 80, I needed help around the home. A friend of mine told me to call Freedom Care, and they'll pay my granddaughter to take care of me.
Funded by Medicaid, Freedom Care allows people to choose who provides their care, and the caregiver gets paid instantly after their shift.
Life is sweeter with her around.
Nana gave me so much joy as a child. Now it's my turn to return the love.
Call now to find out benefits and pay, and how fast you can get started.
Yankees are in Baltimore to face the division rival Orioles at 6:35. A battle for first place. First of 4 games at Camden Yards. And Yes's coverage will start at 6. First pitch at 6:35. Doing the game with me tonight, Meredith Morakovitz, David Cohn, and Joe Girardi.
Hey.
And the Mets welcome in the Cubs at 7:10 on SNY. That's Game Time, brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, because when it's game time, it's Tully time. Tullamore Dew, the original triple distilled, triple blended, and triple cask matured Irish whiskey. Be sure to grab a Tullamore Dew or try the brand new Tullamore Dew Honey during tonight's action. Glasses up to enjoying Tullamore Dew responsibly. Donald, let's talk some Rangers, because they did what they had to do. Some people are upset. Now we're looking for style points. They won 4 in a row. They did what they had to do against the Capitals. Now they have a nice long time to reset until the next series starts. In the past, I think it has hurt them when series have dragged on for 7 games, and then 7 games, and then 7 games. You're going to run out of gas. Getting it done in 4, I thought, was really important for a team that has Stanley Cup aspirations.
Yeah, and I know the games were, like, semi-close, of course, 4-2 with the empty netter, 3-1 game 3, which was kind of a pedestrian game, not a thrilling game by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't worry about style points. This team knew they were better. They got the job done. They swept them in 4, and Trocheck was a beast. 6 points in every game of the series. Panarin with the game winner last night. Outside of a bad goal in Game 3 off of the Carlson shot, I thought Shesterkin was amazing in Game 3, made some point-blank saves. They're really playing a tremendous team-oriented hockey. The best example of why you got to feel good about this team is that goal that Carlson scored early in Game 3. I'm not sure if you saw the highlights. Bad goal. It handcuffed Igor. I was shocked when I made the call that it went in, because it was just a harmless shot from the point, and it just fooled Shesterkin. 34 seconds later, Kreider scores, ties the game, and the Rangers end up winning 3-1. So they play great team hockey. Their kill is tremendous. They got the job done in 3 and 4 on the kill. They were 6 for 6 in Game 3, had a shorthanded goal, had 3 shorthanded goals for the series, and they did what exactly we're supposed to do against an 8 seed. Sweep them right out of the building, and now they'll get a little bit of rest, and hopefully the Islanders will put up some resistance tomorrow, make that series a little bit longer, and take any advantage you can going into round number 2 if it ends up being Carolina.
All right, so let me ask you this tough question, and it's not about the Rangers.
Yeah.
All right. Ovechkin helped the Capitals make the run to get into the playoffs. He was non-existent in this series. Is he done?
If it looked like it. It really did. Now, maybe we're going to find out on Baggy Day that he's been nursing some sort of an injury or has to have surgery. But I've called a bunch of Ovechkin games I've seen his entire career. His shots aren't even getting through. Like, I might have mentioned his name like 4 times last night. This is Alexander Ovechkin. Even in an awful year for him, he still had 31 goals, but he only had 8 in the first 43. And he had a great second half of the season, helped them get in, but he was a non-entity, Michael. First time ever completely scoreless in a series. And it wasn't like the Rangers did anything special. He can't move. And the one thing he always had, he was never a speedster, but he had a shot you couldn't stop. He'd be there at that left circle on the power play, get the puck, and before he even knew he had it, it'd be in the back of the net. And now he's taking, like, wrist shots from the point. Like, he looked cooked, Michael. Done.
But it's so weird, though, because what did you say? He had 8 points in the first half of the season. Then at the end, he had like 30, and then he had 31, right?
Yeah, he ended up with 31.
So what happened? From the end of the season to the start? I know the Rangers are a great team, but to stop a great player like that?
He's 38 years old. So I don't know if he just spent, everything that he had towards the end of the season to get them in. Did I see every single goal he scored in the second half of the season? But I was talking to some people who think that maybe some of the goals were a little fluky and kind of bounced off him, that he didn't really have a traditional Ovechkin season. Sometimes age catches up with you. It's undefeated. And I still thought he had something left. The way he played in this series, Michael, and the way he played overall, I don't think he's getting Gretzky's record next year. I think he's like 43 shy of breaking the record. I don't know if he's going to score 43 goals next year.
And he has 2 years left, right?
Now, he's got 2 years left, so I think he'll compile his way to it because he loves playing. And I could see him maybe sticking around, and certainly the Capitals will want him to stick around for that reason. So I think he will eventually get there, but, God, he just did not look good. Now, credit the Rangers, but I think it was more he just looked cooked to me. And I hope I'm a fan.
Is he maybe hurt?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm going to wait and see. Maybe we're going to find out he needs surgery or something. But he looked like a shell of himself. When I'm calling a game, Peter, A lot of times I'll just judge effort by how often do I talk about them? How much of a threat are they on the ice? And whenever I called an Ovechkin game, he was always a presence. And he had zero presence. I think he had 4 shots on goal in Game 3, but that was because the Rangers took 6 penalties, so he was on the power play. And he plays both units of the power play because that's how good he was with the man advantage. But outside of that, 5-on-5, he was a no-show.
Don, are you allowing me to dream big with the Rangers? Because they look like they're awfully good.
They're very good. Well, they won the President's Trophy. They were the best team. Now, you asked me last
I think it's the Cup. Am I right? I think it's the President's Cup, isn't it?
Well, listen, if you got a yacht somewhere and you want to race it, have fun with it. That doesn't interest me. But the President's Trophy represents the most points in the regular season for a franchise. But you asked me last week, would you be disappointed if they didn't win the Cup? I mean, Carolina is tremendous. And then you got the winner of Florida, most likely Florida, Boston, and that is going to be a beast of a series, too. And those two teams are great, especially Florida. So you've got some landmines to be able to get to the Stanley Cup final. But there's not a lot of weakness there. Third best power play, third best penalty kill. They play tremendous 5-on-5 in the postseason. They've got a world-class goaltender. And they're deep, Michael. They're deep. In Game 1 of this series, their whole fourth line were stars of the game. So, and even though Cooley, Kakko, and Wenberg haven't scored, Kakko did have a goal last night. I think they've been very productive, getting an opportunity to play in that third rotation. There's not a weakness here, so they're certainly in a position to do it, Michael. We'll see if they can, and see if the health is going to be important too. Moving forward, that's why I think getting this rest is going to be so vitally important. Game 5 for the Islanders and Hurricanes isn't until tomorrow. So right there, even if Carolina wraps it up, that's still an extra couple of days they'll get, and we'll see if the series starts this weekend or next week. But why wouldn't you dream, Michael? What would give you a reason not to?
I'm going to dream. That's all there is to it.
I'd be curious to know, because listen, New York fans, they sometimes try to find the nitpick. I'd like to know from a fan, like, what is your biggest concern?
Maybe the road. I mean, you just said the road is going to be
the road. You can't do anything about the road, right?
Yeah.
Like maybe they'll lose to Carolina because Carolina just happens to be better. They're only, like a handful of points, like 3 points less than the Rangers during the year. So it'd be no shame to lose to them. I think it'd be a shame to get swept by them or be non-competitive. But if they go to the next round and lose it in a 7-game series and 3 of them are in overtime, all right, then that's what it is. But, Panarin, there's always been a knock on him for not being big in the postseason. I think he's been tremendous. Like I said, Trocheck has been great. I was very, very impressed with how they were able to handle their business in round 1. And why not dream for both of these teams? Why not dream? They're giving you a reason to, I'll tell you that.
The Rangers trailed the Capitals for just 3 minutes and 21 seconds in the opening round series. In 4 games, they trailed for 3:21. Rangers also became just the 6th President's Trophy winner to sweep their opening round series. Just the 6th. 1-800-919-3776. Let's go to the phones. Well, let's see what you're thinking. Let's go to Mark in Dix Hills. Mark.
Thanks for picking up, fellas. I got to give GQ props, though, to Peter today. Peter, you look out of this world. That suit is gorgeous. Everything fits. You are stunning today.
Oh,
my God. Don, I wasn't sure. Did you say that Boomer Esiason isn't relevant, or that they felt that he wasn't relevant anymore on the station?
Well, I'm just guessing. I have no idea why they did it, but I guess with him and Phil being there for so long and always trying to get that coveted younger audience that didn't see those guys play, I guess that'd be a fair bet.
I couldn't agree more, but you know this about Boomer. There isn't anybody in sports, in football. How about hockey? You know he plays hockey. He has a travel team.
Mm-hmm.
This guy knows more about those sports than anybody they could ever find. He's a good-looking, handsome guy, and his buddy, Phil Simms, they look like bookends, the two of them. Very intelligent, dressed, and he has the #1 sports show in the morning. How the hell do you get rid of this guy? You know why, fellas? And you may not want to hear this, and you'll say, well, how do you know? It's all about politics. The new guy that came in, this is a political move, period.
Well,
political, you mean business political? You mean political in business?
Or actual political?
No. I mean actual political.
Well, then Boomer, if that's the case, Boomer has himself an incredible lawsuit.
And what is that based on, though? I mean, is Matt Ryan somehow? I don't understand.
Well, I'll tell you how. You know, the guy that put me up asked me the same question. How do you know? You got inside information? Give it to us. Here's the information I got. I got a brain, and I listen to you guys. I love your show. I love him in the morning, Boomer. And I know his philosophy. He's a staunch conservative. Phil is in his footsteps. They're staunch conservatives. This guy, 100%, is not a staunch conservative, and neither is CBS.
So do you know what Bill Cowher? What would Bill Cowher's political? What would Bill Cowher's political leanings be?
Phil Cowher?
What would Bill Cowher's?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, then Mark, unless you could say that they're getting rid of every conservative on the show, then I don't think that you can make that. And as I said, if that's the real reason that they did it, then both of them have an incredible lawsuit.
I don't think that's it, Bud. I'm sorry. I don't know if you know this. I don't think football coverage is a bastion of progressive ideology.
And also, can I tell you guys all a little bit of a secret? You can move closer to the speaker.
Oh, boy. Oh, wait, are you sure? When you say it, I don't like the way you say it. It always sounds a little creepy, but I'm going to do it.
Okay.
Like most professional athletes, most of them, they're kind of conservative. Just saying. So if you're going to get rid of all the conservatives in professional athletics, you might have a hard time to even field teams. So that's a dumb statement.
So you don't think that's why they moved on?
No, because I would think that so many people in professional sports are conservative. Many of them.
Yeah, my man was reaching.
But I think it's always a bottom line business. So you're telling me that whoever is doing the hiring at CBS, so you said McManus is out, I don't know who replaced him, is a Democrat and is going to let go of Republicans or right-leaning people on TV just because of his own personal beliefs? Because honestly, when you look at the polls, things are kind of 50-50. So I don't know if you should be making any kind of leaning either way as far as trying to draw an audience is concerned. And they don't talk politics during their football, so I don't know why that would even come up in conversation.
That's a little bit of a reach, Tom.
And how do we know Matt Ryan isn't a conservative? I don't know. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. I have no idea.
My prediction? He is.
So listen, he may be right, but not only just a lawsuit, but I just think I just don't know if you're making decisions completely based on that in that forum. Now, if you are doing a political show, maybe that's something you're looking for, but I don't know how much they really get into politics in there. And he may be concerned. I do hear that Boomer is, and it probably comes up on their morning show, but I don't know if the rest of the nation knows that.
I've never heard him make a political statement on the NFL Today.
Oh, on the football show, you would have no idea what his leanings are.
And it shouldn't matter. They're talking about football, not talking about politics. And again, I tell you, this isn't a knock or anything. Most of professional sports, most of the players are conservative. They are. I know it's going to shock you, but they are. And they're smart enough to keep it to themselves so they don't alienate half the country. As Don said, we're 50-50 in this world. So they don't want to alienate half their fan base, but most of them are conservative. Let's go to Greg in Smithtown. Greggy.
Hey, guys. How are you?
Good. What's up?
Just wanted to make a comment about Brunson because I think the talk around is he a superstar, is he not a superstar? I've been following Brunson since he was at Villanova, and he's evolved since then, and he still will. He led Villanova with their mentality. He was the rock that they circled around. And as a Knick, he is the guy that sets the tone. He's the guy that not only will score you those points, but the other night he had 40, 10, and 1 turnover. So even in games 1 and 2, where he didn't have the greatest offensive performance, he still led that team. He facilitates. He's got the ball in his hands the entire game. And you want to talk about definition of a superstar, it's a player who makes the rest of the team better, not just the guy who's going to score you the points. So when you're talking about superstar, he is the definition of that because everybody else around him gets better because of what he brings to the table.
Greg, he is without question a superstar. And I don't think
there's no doubt.
I don't think we question that. What we were saying is that he probably needs another one. But, you know, Stephen A. Smith came out with a report today that he's been told that Devin Booker wants to play for the Knicks. And I think that what you're seeing with the Knicks, and if they win this round and maybe they get to the Eastern Conference Finals, you're going to see a lot of superstars all of a sudden want to play for the Knicks. Because now it's going to be the place to play, and you get a chance to play with a superstar. I wouldn't even be surprised if Kevin Durant ends up coming here or might want to be here. Now it might be the perfect situation to get him. The Knicks have a lot of draft capital. They can wait. They played this so smart. They're going to sit back. They're going to wait and see who shakes loose, who doesn't want to be somewhere. Now, would Devin Booker be your choice? Would Kevin Durant be your choice? Would Karl Anthony Towns be your choice? I think the Knicks will have a chance to get an over-the-top superstar because now they have made this a place that people want to play.
But now there's like a... Listen, you could always improve, right? And the Boston Celtics could look to try to improve themselves after the season that they had. They still look to improve. But it doesn't seem like as much of a necessity as it was. Because it felt like, well, they'll never go anywhere unless they get that second superstar. Well, they're going to the second round, and they'll be a favorite against the Pacers or the Bucks. They got a chance to be in the Final Four in the conference final without one. So... maybe to get over the top, but now the narrative has changed, Michael. It seems like it's less of a need.
I don't know if they're good enough to win a championship, though. Now, would they be if they plugged in Julius Randle? I'm not sure. I mean, you always want to be better. I mean, it's not like, okay, we've reached our apex. They could be better. But you're right. If they go and run the table and win the championship, then the whole conversation is different. But I don't think we all think they're going to beat the Western Conference team.
I'm not saying we shouldn't talk about it, Michael, but just now doesn't really seem the time to start like talking about needing that guy when they're a win away from going to the second round and maybe making a run here.
I think that Leon Rose could sit back, hands behind his head, feet up on the table, and just take offers. Because people are going to want to play here. He used to have to beg people to come. Now they're going to beg him to come.
This has become a place. And does this kind of prove, Michael, that it was just all about them not being able to win?
Of course. I mean, I love the garbage about they didn't want to play for Dolan. Right. Please.
They're still not
tough
really,
New York media.
Now they're cool. Why are they cool, Michael? What's changed? Is it, the different uniform combinations? Did they do something to the Garden? Did all of a sudden Tom Thibodeau become hipper? Like, I'm not sure what changed other than the winning. Like, we both thought that was like a joke. When you don't win a championship in 73, that's what makes you uncool.
When they did the poll of all the players, and the players overwhelmingly voted Thibodeau as the coach that they don't want to play for. Well, I think that's going to change.
That's going to change.
Because the guys that play for him now love him. And they're going to sell him. Let's go to Anthony. He's way out in Albany. What's up, Anthony?
Hi, Anthony.
Hey, Anthony.
I didn't think you guys would take my call.
Why not?
Okay, I don't know, because of what I'm going to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say off the bat, I'm a big New York kid. I grew up in the Bronx. I happen to live in Albany now.
Okay.
But said that, and I'm just throwing this out there because of Boomer and Phil getting bounced. Could it be that they're too New York?
All of a sudden now?
Well, they've been in New York for 22 and 26 years, respectively.
I know, but just now going back to, hear me out for a moment. I'm going back to the political slant.
Right.
Everything coming out of New York is very negative right now. You got what's going on with you-know-who. I don't want to say that name. And then you've got what's going on in Colombia. It's I don't know if I think America might be getting tired of what's going on in New York.
No.
Just a thought.
I don't think that. Here's the thing that I would have thought. Guys, how many times have I said to you? I don't know if I've said it on the air or off, but it doesn't really matter at this point, I suppose. I have been surprised that in this era, they have kept both Phil Simms and Boomer Esiason. I think they were redundant. And given that you have had places trying to get more diverse and get different voices in there, I'm surprised that they had two white quarterbacks from the exact same era at the desk together. I kind of thought they would have moved one of them out. I am surprised that they moved both of them out for another Southern white quarterback to bring in who just retired. Like, it's just a weird, Michael, do you know what I'm saying? Like, even in terms of checking boxes, it's a weird move by them.
Yeah, I don't think it has anything to do about, Anthony, I don't think it has anything to do about New York. I mean, because they've been New Yorkers. Now, Phil Sims, by the way, is not from New York.
No,
now, he's connected with the New York Giants. Boomer's from Long Island, but I'm sorry.
Phil doesn't play New York at all, though, but on TV.
This is not about New York.
No, Phil grew up in Kentucky. He still has a little bit of a twang to his voice. Now, he played for the Giants, but I don't know if they look at him as a New Yorker. Now, Boomer's a New Yorker. I don't know how much that plays
I don't think it plays at all.
But I agree with Peter. I always thought the same
we're all
thing.
trying to figure out why there's a change at the top of CBS Sports, and the guy wants to put his own imprint. And he thinks it's a brilliant move to get rid of two older guys and bring in Matt Ryan, who's younger.
And again, if you want to say it's stale or whatever, he's entitled to his opinion. And maybe he was given the reins to be able to make those changes. Change sometimes is good. Whenever there is a change in management, there's usually a change in personnel. I just hate the fact that the change in personnel are guys with zero experience. We don't know if they can do the job. So that's the only problem I have with. But whenever you bring in a new program director, you bring in somebody different to make decisions. Yeah, they're going to want to put their fingerprints on that for sure. And those guys were there for a long time. And you want to change it up, you're entitled to do it. But are you changing them up for guys that are going to do as good a job? Because the two people you let go were terrific at what they did.
I think this sums it up best, Don and Peter. Mary2604 on Twitter ats me and writes, "I love Boomer," 2 exclamation points. And then the next line in the last 2 words, "Peter sucks." I mean, really, that's it. That's what Mary thinks.
It does feel like, Peter, that someone that would love Boomer would hate you.
Well, yeah, I think that people have some thoughts about the way. Let me just be honest. I don't think Boomer and I would get along like gangbusters, if I'm being honest with you. I don't see us having a lot in common.
Really?
You don't
Me
know
and
that.
Boomer. Yeah, well, we have one thing in common.
What's that?
3.
Okay.
2. 1. Come on, one of you.
One thing
we
in
have one
common?
thing in common. 3.
I don't.
2.
I don't know.
1. Anthony, jump in, for God's sake.
Oh, you went to Maryland.
Oh, my. There it is.
What is it?
They went to Maryland.
Oh.
Besides that, the conversation, I think...
And you're
I
both
think
men, and you both love football. Come
Well,
on. Why does the politics have to separate us?
No, you know what, Don? And I can always go with the way Michael...
Anyway.
That's a great point. And I can always go with the way Michael relates to Rick. Him and I both love our families.
Right.
I love dogs. I love ice cream. I'm sure he does as well.
I don't believe Boomer or you think either of the two of you are yummy. I don't think that would ever come up in conversation.
Great point. No matter what happens.
Well, Boomer's closer to yummy than Peter.
Well, it depends on your taste. They're both attractive men.
Thank you.
Boomer's more attractive, though, than Peter.
Do you really think that?
Yeah, I do.
Well, you have terrible taste in
Boomer's
everything.
a handsome man.
Listen, I'm not saying he's ugly or anything like that, but I've never heard anyone waxing poetic about how handsome Boomer Esiason is.
Because nobody has the guts that I have to talk in man.
I just don't know how it relates to the conversation.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good point.
I don't know. So he's good looking, great.
I'll tell you what, I have a really good-looking man on my podcast tomorrow. I'm a champion named Cody Rhodes on Cheap Heat.
And you can get Cheap Heat where?
Wherever podcasts are found, Michael, and that's why I wore the suit today for my big interview with Cody. My first interview with him as the new champ. But now that's a good-looking man.
Interesting. I'm sure the two of you would have a good time in a bath together. So why don't you tell us about Bath Fitter?
See, you know what?
The Michael K. Show on Yes is presented by Untuck It. Shirts designed to be worn untucked. Shop now at untuckit.com.
The best ideas come from solving common problems. My problem, like a lot of other men, I couldn't find a shirt that looked good untucked. So this became my passion, to design a shirt that captures the perfect balance between length and fit. Easy to say, not that easy to do. But with some innovative design changes, we did it. Our problem, my solution. Untuckit.com.
This homestyle chicken salad wrap from Subway, this is how you do it. Savory chicken, crisp veggies, all wrapped up.
These wraps are amazing.
People can hear my thoughts. That's a problem. Stay fresh out there with all new wraps from Subway.
Step into the world of Golden Nugget Online Casino. With all the slots and table games you love, feel like you're on the casino floor no matter where you are. Score rewards by playing your favorite games and get your winnings almost instantly with lightning-fast withdrawals. So what are you waiting for? Have a great time in your downtime. Download the Golden Nugget Online Casino app and get started today with this great offer.
The experienced technicians at A.J. Perry are ready to solve all of your drain problems. Take advantage of our 123 or it's free mainline drain clearing special. If we can't clear it, you don't pay for it. Call 844-668-7555.
I love those guys.
New season, new reasons to say yes. Wow. Yes to the ultimate viewing experience.
Aaron Judge crushes one.
Yes to in-game live stats. And earn rewards and win prizes. Get all the Yankees action on the Yes app. Download now.
If anyone knows the joy of rescuing animals, it's me. Just ask my rescues, who are all very important members of my family. Your life can also be forever changed by adopting a shelter pet. And it's not just about happiness your pet gets from finding a loving home, but that which you'll get from bringing them into your life. The heroes at American Humane have been helping animals for more than 140 years, whether it's rescuing animals caught in disasters, ensuring the safety of animal stars on the screen, or protecting our planet's endangered species. They go above and beyond to further their mission and make the world a kinder place for animals. Please consider adopting a shelter pet and support American Humane. You can learn more at AmericanHumane.org.
It really doesn't matter what your politics are. The military, these people are serving our country, and they need help. The United States is so much better than every other country, and it would not happen without people who risk their lives, and that's who you're supporting.
I want to hear what you rate the Tunnel to Towers Foundation.
Right, which is always high pressure when I'm sitting right next to the guy. It's like, but we'll give it 10, even though I don't generally give 10s. That's a rookie score. But we'll give it 10. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't a 10.
So let's do good together.
Let's do it.
Dupixent can help people with asthma breathe better in as little as 2 weeks. So this is better, even this. Dupixent is an add-on treatment for specific types of moderate to severe asthma that's not for sudden breathing problems. Dupixent can cause allergic reactions that can be severe. Tell your doctor right away if you have rash, chest pain, worsening shortness of breath, tingling, or numbness in your limbs. Tell your doctor about new or worsening joint aches and pain or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop asthma medicines, including steroids, without talking to your doctor. Ask your specialist about Dupixent.
Hey, so I found a betting system that's really working great for me.
So did I. What's yours?
I set up an hour-a-week time limit on FanDuel. I can also set up wager limits, so I only bet what I can afford, and betting stays fun.
Right.
So what's your system?
What's that?
Your system. What's your system? What is that?
Every bettor has a system. Make FanDuel's responsible gaming tools a key part of yours.
With Spectrum Mobile's Anytime upgrade, you get to upgrade your phone anytime you want for free, which means you get the best, latest and greatest, most up-to-date technology out there. So say you want a bigger screen, less screen, more storage, less storage. Doesn't matter. Any color. You can upgrade anytime. And who wouldn't want that? Except for Ryan. And that's a life choice. That's respect.
I gotta get back to this.
Yeah.
Don't wait to upgrade your phone. Get Anytime upgrade, included with Unlimited Plus from Spectrum Mobile.
What if you went to your secret hiding place and found this? All drug use comes with risk. Before those risks become real, know that you can quit. For help with drug use, call 1-800-662-HELP for free and confidential information and treatment referral, or go to samhsa.gov/knowtherisks.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Michael, Don, and Peter with you until 6:30. Talking Knicks, Rangers, talking CBS letting go of Boomer Esiason and Phil Simms on the same day. So we got a lot of stuff on the plate for you.
Can I throw something else in there,
Yeah.
Michael?
Yeah.
How about, I'm sure you've seen the news by now, they've announced that the Mike Tyson-Jake Paul fight's going to be an officially sanctioned heavyweight
See,
fight.
but I don't understand it because I saw it's officially sanctioned, but it's 2-minute rounds.
Yeah.
So how's it official?
8 rounds, 2-minute rounds, and yet it's still going to count as an official fight. I don't know. I mean, well, think about it like this. There are always fights with different round lengths.
Really?
So, oh, yeah.
I mean, there might be different number of rounds, but
that's what
it was always 3-minute rounds.
Yeah. No. I agree. I, as far as I remember, always 3 minutes. What I'm saying is they've always been amenable to having 10 round, 12 round, 15 round. Blah. So maybe they. That's the only thing I can think of is that they're amenable to making changes like that. I don't know if I've ever heard of one though, where two men fighting have 2-minute rounds.
Well, I don't know how they use the word from a semantic standpoint, but I would assume when you say sanctioned, everybody agrees that this is the way it's going to go, and all right, we'll have it be for something. So
No, but the record will count toward, like Mike Tyson's record.
Right.
Whatever his record is now, he'd have one more win and one more loss or one more draw.
Right. But to Peter's point, whether it's 12 rounds, 15 rounds, it's sanctioned. They've agreed upon it. So I don't know if there's ever been a sanctioned fight that had less than 3 minutes around.
Right. It doesn't make sense to me. It's like, what if all of a sudden baseball changed to 6 innings? And a guy threw 40 complete games. Would that, be the record? No, it doesn't make sense. A baseball game's 9 innings. A boxing round is 3 minutes. And I must say, if it's an exhibition and you want to change it to 2 minutes, that's fine. But to sanction it as an official fight, really? A little odd.
I want to find out whether there is any precedent for that. Because I will tell you, I only recall 3-minute rounds ever in anything I can recall.
Let's go back to the phones. Joe in Knoxville. Joey.
Good afternoon, boys. Don, I thought about you last night calling the show. Your calling that last goal, the dagger.
Right.
Nate, that's just a classic call right there. Okay, that was, and then your earlier conversation about announcers. Look, man, I'm down here in Tennessee. I don't have MSG. But if I have an option, if you are calling the game on the radio versus watching the game on TBS or whatever they got, I'm listening to the radio because I want to hear your call, not just because I love the show, but because of your passion, your obvious knowledge, and I think you and Dave have a great chemistry. So just want to throw that.
Well, thank you, Joe, and I appreciate that. And I think for the most part, in other sports, that's the case. I think in football, it's become so gargantuan, and it's only once a week, that I find it very difficult to believe that people's viewing habits are going to be based on who's calling the game. They might rather have somebody than someone else, but Peter's a Commanders fan. No matter who's calling the game, you're going to watch the game. But, Bucks Pacers tomorrow, you may be motivated by who's calling the game if you don't have a rooting interest in it. But in football, I just think it really doesn't matter.
Let's go to Bernie in Virginia. What's up, Bern?
Hey, how you doing? Sorry, I'm working out. I was at the Ranger game last night, and the Caps fans, they knew it was over. Yeah. They knew it was over before the puck dropped. The upper levels where I was, packed with Rangers fans who bought last-minute tickets when I think the game became a possible clinching game. Caps fans, they despise Rempe. They hate him.
Everybody does.
There were so many Rempe jerseys there. It was really cool to see.
But I will say this again. I don't want to douse any cold water on the Rempe flame. Didn't play in the third period. So when you talk a trust standpoint, listen, they love him, and he brings a physicality. But when it came time, to protect that 1-goal lead, he didn't trust putting him on the ice. And he's a kid, and I get it. I'm just saying that there's still work to be done there.
Ovechkin, they all the fans, it's kind of sad. Like, they know he's completely washed, especially in the playoffs. And,
Oh, we lost him.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. He was...
Well, you know what? Let's go from one Bernie to another. Bernie in Tampa.
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing?
Good. How are you, Bernie?
Real good, thank you. Yeah, so the play where Embiid steps on Hart, That completely looked intentional to me. It looks like when you slow that down, he knows he's below him. He takes a step back. He looks down, and he puts his weight on his leg.
Yeah.
If that's Draymond, how is that? He's getting kicked out. And then I think it was Jefferson who comes out and says, hey, I can't comment on intent. That's his role. I want to hear what he has to say. And then it was a complete nothing. They just moved on.
With all due respect, Bernie, I mean, you could be right and I could be wrong. I know the play you're talking of. I watched it over and over. It looks like he's losing his balance backing up, and then his foot comes right down on Hart. Remember, and Hart's lucky he didn't get really hurt, but it's being played at a speed that we can't even appreciate. So I don't think he just stomped on his leg. I think he was falling backward, and he stepped on his leg. I don't think that was on purpose. Now, hitting Brunson in the face with the shoulder, that was on purpose.
But I'm sorry, you don't get the benefit of the doubt. Draymond doesn't get it, and Embiid doesn't get it. So I can understand a fan or that caller not wanting to give Embiid the benefit of the doubt because he is a dirty player. So I don't feel bad for him. You might be right, Michael, but it's hard for me not to think about that with some bias considering his history.
Let's go to Richard in Manhattan. Richard.
Hi, Michael, Don, Peter.
Hello.
16 series, 8 in the NHL, 8 in the NBA. 2 were sweeps. Ironically, Ovechkin and Durant both got swept out. One stayed in Washington his whole career. The other was born in Washington and wasn't loyal to any of the teams he was with. Philadelphia basketball has never been the same since Allen Iverson left. They will never recover from that. The Knicks had 11 blocks yesterday. Ironically, not one block from a center.
Oh no!
As far as the Rangers and Philadelphia Flyers, 50 years ago. The Knicks will make up what happened 50 years ago when they got beat up by the Flyers. I was afraid that the 76ers might trot out Kate Smith to do the national anthem. That's what I was afraid of yesterday.
I'm at the risk of really having this spiral out of control. Is there some sort of curse that the Sixers haven't recovered because Allen Iverson left? Why would something that happened all those years ago impact this?
Seems like their fans and their teams are not into it at all anymore.
I don't know about that, Richard, but we'll certainly let you have your point.
Phone line today is an interesting.
Well, there was drilling going on, I'm sure.
Well, he's got a lot of teeth to say.
He's got a lot of stuff. I thought about Durant a lot watching that game yesterday, and I think Durant. He made 2 mistakes. Well, he made 3. He's made a lot of mistakes. He should have stayed in Oklahoma City, where he would have been a god, and they might have won a championship. Remember, they were 3-1 to the Warriors the last year he was there. Then he goes to Golden State, and they win 2 championships. And he should have stayed there because he'd have 6 titles by now. And then when he was a free agent after that, he should have gone to the Knicks. He should never have followed Kyrie Irving and gone to Brooklyn. And then once he's in Brooklyn, he should have probably stayed there and played it out. Let them build around him. Instead, he went to Phoenix thinking that was a ready-made title with Beal and with again, that guy's name is
Booker?
Booker. He doesn't even like the way the offense is run. Vogel puts him in the corner. He's not that. It's like Flashdance. Don't put Durant in the corner. He doesn't run an offense for him.
It was Dirty Dancing.
Was it Dirty Dancing? Yeah. Well, that was a very, very tough time for me. Anyway, he has made so many bad mistakes. This guy's one of the all-time great talents, and he's not going to be appreciated on the level that he should because of all the bad decisions he's made about where to go and where to leave.
Right,
you know where he should have gone? Because in 2016, when he was a free agent, the Heat tried to get him, and Spoelstra said, we will unlock your talent, the way we unlocked LeBron's. He didn't go there. If he wanted to win a lot of championships, he should have gone there. Now, he did get 2 championships with Golden State, and he would have won more. Mm-hmm. Every decision he's made has been wrong.
Really bad. Really bad.
Every time he's come to a fork in the road, he's gone the wrong way.
Now
it does not distinguish him at all. I feel sorry for the guy because he's a transcendent talent. Awful, awful, awful. Let's go to Andrew in Newark. Andrew.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. Big fan. I think there's something that a lot of people are forgetting to mention in regards to the Boomer Esiason and Phil Simms thing. Every year, if anybody's had a job, you get a raise. And if they've been there for over 20 years, that number must be really, really high. And then the other thing too is a lot of companies, especially media companies, they don't care how old you are or what your politics is. If you have a huge following, especially on social media, they're going to put you on. So I think a lot of people are forgetting that. I don't know about Phil Simms or Boomer Esiason's followings, but
but they brought in Matt Ryan, bro.
And also,
Andrew, is Matt Ryan killing it on TikTok right now?
Boomer Esiason.
I don't know. I'm not saying that was part of
but
it.
Andrew, Boomer Esiason has one of the biggest morning show audiences in the country.
And not every.
Okay, I'm just saying people are also forget. I'm not saying that was part of it. I'm just saying as a side to that.
No, you're right.
Sometimes, and then the other thing too is, like I said, people are forgetting. Sometimes this might be a money thing. If both of them have been there for over 20 years.
Yeah, but here's how you solve that, Andrew. All right, so let's say Boomer made $10 million a year. I'm just guessing. And let's say Phil made $8 million a year. And they go, you're going to have to take a pay cut or we're going to let you go.
Yeah.
I think they take a pay cut.
See, that's what the caller fails to understand. This is not general business where you have tenure. You renegotiate a contract. His contract's up, new contract. Hey, we want to bring you back, but we're going to bring you back for less. So if they wanted him back, but they wanted to get it cheaper, they could have at least talked about that. But that doesn't sound like that happened here. It just wasn't even offered anything. And I'm sure Matt Ryan isn't doing it for free. Matter of fact, I would guess he's probably making the same, if not more, than what Phil and Boomer were making.
I don't think he's making what Boomer's making. Boomer has been there a long time. He was the main guy there.
I understand. But it's a new world, and these players made a lot of money in their career, Michael, so you're going to have to throw a lot of money at them to get them to want to do it.
Right.
The caller's overall point is right in terms of the fact that these days the eyeballs that you can gain on social media is basically everything.
Right, but where's Matt Ryan, as you said? Where's his TikTok account?
But in this case, I mean, yeah, I don't get it.
Peter, you do get FanDuel, though. I know that.
You know what, Michael? I'm glad you brought that up.
My dad's not just a hero, he's my hero.
Join our mission at hfotusa.org. And more practical.
Be able to perform here and here. Make a statement while barely making a sound. And command the road, as well as what lies ahead. How we get there matters. Get exceptional offers at your local Audi dealer.
FanDuel Casino has your chance at the #1 feeling, winning. Winning ranks higher than any other feeling, higher than number 30. Saying, I told you so.
Told you so.
Higher than number 89, the feeling of catching your car keys with one hand. And number 78, thinking it's Friday when it's really Saturday. New players get 200 chances at winning with their first deposit on FanDuel Casino.
The best ideas come from solving common problems. My problem, like a lot of other men, I couldn't find a shirt that looked good untucked. So this became my passion, to design a shirt that captures the perfect balance between length and fit. Easy to say, not that easy to do. But with some innovative design changes, we did it. Our problem, my solution. Untuckit.com.
It's one fantastic ride. The turbocharged, tech-inspired Kia Forte.
Best 2 out of 3?
Lease the new 2024 Forte LXS for $189 a month.
Chris Sheeran back here for the Michael K. Show. These highlights are brought to you by Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. The Yankees offense came to life in Milwaukee, especially in the final 2 games of the series. Anthony Volpe crushed this 3-run shot in the top of the 5th. And that put his team up 4-0. Now, the Brewers got all 4 back in their half of the 5th, and then the Yankees sent 11 hitters to the plate in the 6th. Gleyber Torres chases the first run in with a ribby single. That breaks the tie. Then Jose Trevino plays pylon, brings in 2 more with a ribby single of his own. His last 10 games, 8 starts. He's hitting .406 with a pair of homers, 10 ribbies, and an OPS over 1,000. Juan Soto kept his modest hitting streak going with his lone hit of the game. It's up to 6 straight for him. Yankees go on to win this one 15-5. And that was on the heels of a 15-run explosion the previous day as well. All told, the Yankees scored 36 runs against the Brewers, hitting close to 350 as a team, and they smacked 10 home runs. The Yankees leave Milwaukee now, and they head to Baltimore for a 4-game set with the Orioles. Our coverage begins with the pregame show at 6, followed by first pitch a little after 6:30. It's the Yankees and the Orioles, a battle of the top 2 teams in the